Alright, in my last video, I mentioned that you can use the point circle collision to do a missile type game. So I've gone ahead and done a little demo, and as you can see, it's a very simplified missile command type game. It's not a true representation, but it gets the essence down. So you can fire your own missiles at the incoming missiles, and if it's in the impact area where the crosshair is and the circle appears, then the enemy missile is destroyed. And we have a little sound effect, but basically it's probably one of the shortest pieces of code I've done that actually does a lot. So I'm going to go through this and show you what I've created here. So everything in QBasic, and we have several subprograms here, and this game is a little bit configurable. I can add, let's try 30 missiles and see how that goes. So it slows a little bit down, but it's still doable. Now this should also probably work with QB64. I haven't tried it, but I'm not using anything that would prevent it from working. So you can try that and let me know how it goes, but I'll reduce this down to 5. And I'm going to switch over to Visual Studio Code because it's a little easier to read. So I've defined a structure here with all the information needed for our missile. So the starting position, start X, start Y, current positions, current X, current Y, and the steps to take horizontally and vertically. And because I don't want all the missiles to launch at the same time, we have a launch time. And whether the missile is active or it's been hit. Several shared variables. I don't want to keep passing X, Y values back and forth for our crosshair, so I've shared them that way. It gets updated quicker. This is a little message here that gets displayed when we hit a missile. And this is our array of missiles. Again, configurable, so if you put here whatever number, it will create an array with all these missiles with these values. So we have, when we start the program, we have the Initialize enemy missiles subprogram. So if we jump to that, we're setting all these values for each missile into the array. So we're choosing some random numbers to start the X position, and we're incrementing the Y by 1, but you could also create a random value here as well. Initial value for active is 0. A little typo here. I should fix this. And the launch time is the current time plus some random value times 20. So that should give us a range, a good range for the missiles not starting at the same time. Our X step here is a random value between 0 and 2. It actually doesn't reach 2, it's below 2. And our Y step is 5. You can change these values here to make the enemy missiles behave differently. And if we go back to the top, so this is what happens. We initialize the screen. This is screen 7, 320 by 200. And I'm using double buffering here, so that's why the extra values here. So we're drawing on a hidden screen, then we're going to use the pcopy command to copy the hidden screen to the visible screen. And we also have an untimer event here. So every second it goes to this routine update enemy, which is all the way at the bottom here. Actually, there we go, we're right here. And it calls the update enemy missiles. And if we look for that, here we go. So we go through all the missiles to check if they're active. If they are active, we move them forward, and depending on our X step and Y step. If not, we check to see if they should be launched. So if the current time, we get the current time here, is greater than the launch time, then we should launch the missile, basically. So that's why we have active. We set it to active. Next time it checks for that, it should be incrementing its location. We also check to make sure it's not hit. Any hit missiles we don't reactivate. Um, and if we go back up here, in between the Wild Wind here, this is our main game loop. Every game has this in some way or another. We check for input, we update our positions, and we draw our graphics, our objects. And this does pretty much the same thing. So I'm checking for left, right, up and down arrow keys. I'm incrementing the position of the crosshair. If F, I'm indicating that we should fire. I'm setting fire variable to 1. And we're clearing the screen here. We're printing our instructions and our position. We're drawing the enemy missiles. And again, we're checking here if we fired. We draw the our missiles here. We draw the impact area, and we check for a hit. And we set back the fire to 0. And finally, we draw the crosshair. We want the crosshair to be over all the previously drawn graphics, so that's why it gets last. If we move this up, after we clear the screen, then it will be below all the graphics, and that's not what we want. So, so that's the basics of this program. Let me run it again. And the main thing which I've left out is the cities down here, but this is something that can be added. In the next video, I will probably do point rectangle collisions, and that would allow you to draw several cities at the bottom here, and you can check if the cities get hit. I'll probably leave that up to you, but who knows, if I have time, I may implement that as well. But again, take a look at the code. Let me know what you think of it. I'm trying to make this as simple as possible to understand, but also make it the best I can make it with the small amount of code. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.